Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
They set them loose, Madam Secretary, because you're running for president. Millions of taxpayer dollars on this abusive effort to derail Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign.
Of course, it's political. Problem is, the Democrats don't like tasting their own poison. Notice we don't hear the Democrats apologizing for the Justice Department's targeting of journalists, or the IRS's targeting of conservative groups and Christian organizations. But Ranking Member Democratic Representative Elijah Cummings limiting the investigation to a simple political attack would mean that the American public suffers from mass amnesia.
CNN has learned the CIA is involved in what one source calls an unprecedented attempt to keep the spy agency's Benghazi secrets from ever leaking out.
Benghazi is about the NSC directing an operation that is perhaps shadowy, perhaps has a presidential finding, perhaps doesn't, that takes arms and men and puts them into Syria in the guise of the Free Syrian Army.
Whatever Stevens was involved with, it became very well known to these terrorists, these radicals, who he may have been dealing with, that he was more than just an ambassador. I think he was targeted, and I think the reason that the military was told to stand down is, look, the military, we know that stovepiping still goes on between the Pentagon and the CIA. And, you know, if the CIA is up to something, they don't want the military involved. And I think that's what we had in Benghazi. I think this was a CIA operation, and I don't care how many Marines were off the coast. They were not going to be called in. And again, Obama, basically, you know, this gets back to what I wrote. This guy comes from the CIA family. He has a background. He knows when he's responsible for his CIA operation. He's not going to say a word about it. And, you know, he'll remain silent for 7 hours, 8 hours, or, you know, however long it takes.
Ambassador Stevens met with his last visitor of the day, which apparently was the Turkish representative. That's notable. Turkey is partnering with us right now in a covert action to help do two things. Increasing level of intelligence we're aware of by using the Turkish intelligence assets on the ground in Syria, and by actually working with us to quote-unquote arm the friendly rebels, whoever they are. And I think that's notable by the fact Ambassador Stevens met with this Turkish representative right before the firefight.
The corporate media was forced to admit that the Benghazi attack was staged by a State Department-hired jihadist security outfit in connection with an arms transfer to al-Qaeda mercenaries in Syria. However, later on, these facts were deemed as speculation by the mainstream media as the Obama administration continued to cover up the real reason for the murder of Ambassador Stevens, downplaying the incident and characterizing it as a non-event, not requiring congressional investigation, and the impeachment of President Obama. The Obama administration announced in late September that it planned to expand a program to secure and destroy Libya's huge stockpile of dangerous surface-to-air missiles, and that the U.S. State Department has one official on the ground in Libya, as well as 5 contractors who specialize in explosive ordnance disposal, all working with the rebel Transitional National Council to find the looted missiles, ABC News reported. Doubtless, instead, they became part of the CIA stockpile destined ultimately for ISIS in Syria. Hillary's song and dance on Capitol Hill was a sideshow, ignoring the CIA's secret arms transfer elephant in the room.
Why has no one been held accountable? How come not a single person lost a single paycheck connected to the fact that we had the first ambassador killed since 1979?
The laws that govern those decisions were followed very carefully.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not asking what the ARB did. I'm asking what you did.
There could not be immediate action taken, but there was a process that was immediately instituted and which led to decisions being made.
Yes, ma'am. The decision was to put these back at full back pay and keep them on as employees.
If the Democrats on this committee had their way, dozens of witnesses never would have been interviewed. Your public record would still be private. Thousands of documents never would have been accessed. And we wouldn't have the emails of our own ambassador. That may be smart politics, but it is a lousy way to run a serious investigation.
John Bound for Infowars.com.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there was a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, Infowars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.